Welcome to the Intuitive Therapist Podcast with Janis R. Cohen, therapist, clairvoyant, empath, and medium. Listen in as she takes a no-nonsense deep dive into real human struggles and how to resolve them. Janis will share channeled information from her spirit guide team, as well as the angels and archangels, to help you master your emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual destiny. And now, Janis R. Cohen.
Hey y'all, this is Janis Cohen, the Intuitive Therapist here on the Intuitive Therapist Podcast. How many times have you second-guessed yourself when it comes to decision making? And why do we second-guess ourselves? Why do we doubt ourselves so much and so often to make the right and good decisions for ourselves? So if you haven't figured out, today's episode is about using your intuition to make the right decisions. So we doubt ourselves for two reasons. One, you don't trust yourself confidently. And two, you're externally focused on circumstances and other people's reactions to your decision rather than internally focusing on making decisions that satisfy you. And when a decision is right for you, you intuitively feel it, a peaceful, reassuring sense in your body. But how do you find that peaceful, reassuring feeling when you don't trust yourself at all? When you look back at past decisions you've made and you label yourself as a failure or poor decision maker or even a screw up? Been there. I get it. That's how I spent my entire life up until a certain point. And the two most important reasons for me about why I wasn't a good decision maker was because I wasn't clear about what I desired, and I allowed myself to be convinced otherwise. I wasn't confident in myself. And when you look at your life, where in your life have you been certain, right? So you have a whole slew of evidence in your life where you have made decisions quickly and they've worked out fine. So where in your life have you known without a shadow of a doubt what you knew, wanted, and needed to do, and did it without second guessing? You have times in your life where you've done that. You see, each of us has a history of making really good decisions. We just forget that we've done that when we come up against challenges that question our certainty. When I was a little girl, I grew up being told what to do. Yep, of course, children need a sense of order in their lives. And until they can think for themselves, their parents or guardians often tell them what to do, when, and how, and what to think about. And I also wasn't taught to think for myself, to have my own opinion, even though I had kind of always had my own opinion and spoke out about things. But teaching us independent thinking really wasn't something that was a priority in our home. Other things like family, loving each other, working out disagreements, religion, those things were important to my folks, and I'm really, really glad they were instilled in me too. But I spent most of my life uncertain about most of my decisions because we relied pretty much on my dad to tell us what we were going to do. And I could very easily be swayed by comments that my mom would say because she wouldn't do the things the way I would do, right? So she'd say things like for example, if I called her up, I remember this explicitly years and years ago, maybe 20 years ago. I called her up and I was like, "Hey, Mom, I'm thinking of, I think I'm going to get a king size bed." And she goes, "Do you really want a king size bed? Like, why do you need a king size bed? You don't need a king size bed. Your room isn't big enough for one." That alone swayed me. So later I regretted that. But that's all it took, is to just plant that seed of doubt, and I took it hook, line, and sinker. She had great intentions, but didn't even realize she was doing that, not supporting my confidence in making decisions. And because looking back on what I would share with her, I wasn't certain when I shared it. In fact, it's like I was almost running it by her without realizing it. And once she uttered those words that cast doubt on my decision, I began to doubt myself and I changed my mind. Now, I'm not saying that external input isn't valuable. It can definitely be. But how you cultivate certainty in your decision making when your confidence in who you are as a person isn't where it needs to be or could be, how do you do that? That can be a challenge. When you don't feel certain of who you are, you find it hard to make decisions easily. You doubt yourself. You believe what your ego tells you, that you've screwed up so many times before that you're a fuck up when it comes to decision making. And therefore, you can't trust yourself to make good decisions, which, by the way, is a lie. You really can. You just focus on the fact that, you've screwed up. But now tell me, how many perfect people are there in the world? Humans. None. Tell me how many people haven't made any mistakes in their decision making? Ever. None. No one. That's because we all make shitty decisions. We all make mistakes, and there are reasons why we make them so that we can learn from them. But the way to change that is to listen to your body and soul, right? A lot of, we make decisions coming from a lot of emotional places. So if we're coming from a desperate state, we're acting out of panic. If we think that the only way to make a decision is through thought, then we're trying to logic our way through things. And your body is the most amazing gauge for how you're doing overall in life, right? Walk with light steps. Yep, you're feeling pretty damn good about how you're living your life. Walk around with physical illness, aches, pains, etc. Well, you're not in touch with the truth of who you are. And I don't mean to dog anybody who's got a diagnosed condition. But what I do know is that when your body is sick, there's something you're not taking care of. I believe that. You don't have to, but I do. And so your body tells you everything you need to know about how you're doing in the world. And especially when it comes to decision making, your body is the key to making the right and best ones for you. And I teach my clients how to do a whole bunch of different kinds of muscle testing to determine which decisions are best. And especially when they're hard to make. One of the best ways is to do this kind of stand and lean technique. And I'm teaching you this technique so you can use it immediately wherever you go, even in the grocery aisle. And you're like, should I get this one or that one? Ask your body. It will tell you. So here's the strategy. I want you to stand up where you are right now with your feet at least 6 inches apart. Just relaxed knees, relaxed legs, arm by your side, and take a big deep breath and release and allow your body to just relax. And I want you to breathe in 2 more times, nice and deep and even, and exhale and release. And now all you're going to do is you're going to notice how your body leans forward or backwards. And you're going to find that your body will respond to you when you ask a question, a yes question. So I just want you to let your body show you the answer, okay? And so it's going to pull you forward or backwards depending on what you ask. So I just want you to do a few test runs, okay? So I want you to have your body just say, okay, body, show me a yes. And see what your body does. And then I want you to ask your body, show me a no. And just let your body be pulled backwards or forwards. Okay? And now I want you to ask even more specific questions. I want you to ask your body, knowing now what your yes and no feels like. For me, my yes is leaning forward. My no is leaning back. So ask your body these questions. Is my name, and then you state your name. You'll get a yes. And say, is my name, and call on somebody else's name. Your body will tell you. Next question, ask your body, okay, body, am I wearing a pink shirt? If you're wearing a pink shirt, you'll get a yes. If you're not wearing a pink shirt, your body will show you a no. Another question is, am I standing up? Your body will tell you. Once you get a sense of how your body just knows the answer, any question you ask it, it will give you a clear yes, no, and maybe. Now, the maybe show up in your body by remaining in place or kind of going back and forth, right? If that's the case, then don't keep asking yourself the question to get a yes or no. A maybe means that you need more time or you need to gather more information to get the yes or no. Trust your body. Don't panic about it. And if you're pressured to make a decision in the moment, you'll feel what's right for you. You will get some kind of physical sign, a quick thought, a feeling in your belly or chest or head, which will tell you what to do. And it will feel clean and light and breezy. Trust yourself. Trusting yourself just takes evidence. And when you can anchor into your body and your body can give you the evidence, then you know that you have that to lean into all the time. So when you realize that your body knows all the answers and that you don't need to think your way through decision making anymore, then you can build up that self-confidence you need to move forward in any direction in your life. The most successful business people and the most successful, most peaceful people in the world, hands down, rely solely on their intuition to guide them and make decisions. It's purely on instinct. And they trust their bodies to lead them to the right best answers. And I wanted to leave you with this quote. And it's by Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. As soon as you trust yourself, you will know how to live. And it's very, very true. Trust in yourself is the basis for everything. Everything. And if you cultivate that, decisions will be easier, relationships will be easier, boundaries will be clearer. Every part of your life will be easier when you cultivate this trust. So work on that. Work on that body feedback, that stand and lean, allowing your body to tell you, because it truly does work. I wish you a blessed day, a wonderful week, and as always, live intuitively.
Thanks for listening to The Intuitive Therapist. If you like what you heard, the best compliment you can give us is to share this podcast with a friend. And be sure to give us some stars and a favorable review at Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen in.